Yo, what's good, fellas? So this was a video I've been meaning to react to, just never got around to it. But at the same time, like, this is a well overdue video because this has been a thing since chapter 79 when Ada released her omnipotence into the world, and the only two normal humans that was not affected was Sarada and Sumire. Now, there's been a lot of theories and controversies going around the community about why that is, but of course it hasn't been revealed yet, and I feel like it might be revealed soon. I just have a feeling within the next 5 chapters we might have a clue, or it could be revealed as to why Sarada and Sumire aren't affected. Now, currently the only 2 theories that I know personally is Sarada and Sumire being in love with an Otsutsuki. I mean, they're both probably in love with Boruto, or once was in love with an Otsutsuki, being Boruto or Kawaki, or however you ship them together. That's not important. The fact of the matter is they have romantic feelings towards an Otsutsuki. The other reason I heard as of why they aren't affected is because those 2 are the only friends that Ada has. And Ada's desire is to be treated like a normal person, to forge natural relationships. That's why she likes Kawaki, because he's an Otsutsuki and he can't fall for her charm ability. And the only 2 people that Ada can consider a friend is Sarada and Sumire. That's the only way they are connected. Now, of course, this video has a lot of theories, you know. Yeah, it definitely has about 1, 2, 3, 5 theories. So we're just gonna check out all 5 and see which one is the most logical. So before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Miso, I'm gonna leave the link to his channel down below in the description. So go check him out if you have time, man. And my boy's almost at 1,000 subscribers, so you know, he's at 985 at the time of this video. Let's go ahead and bump that up to 1,000. I know we can do that. And we better be able to do that, for real, for real. But without further ado, let's hop into the video.
Since the reveal of Ida's charm ability, or what was further revealed to be a shinjutsu known as omnipotence, there has been one glaring question that's been unanswered and on everyone's mind, which is why Sarada and Sumire are not affected by it. At a surface level, this should be impossible. It's stated only Otsutsukis and blood relatives are able to resist Ida's charm, so that is only Boruto and Kawaki, since their karmas rewrote their DNA to be fully alien, yet these 2 seemingly random shinobi with no similarities between them and no corresponding Otsutsuki traits are able to not only resist Ida's initial charm, but actually aren't affected by omnipotence at all, since their memories aren't rewritten to believe that Kawaki is a Uzumaki and Boruto killed Naruto and Hinata.
Well, they are related in a way, them being in love with the same person, or seemingly being in love with the same person. We know Sumire's true feelings, but Sarada's feelings are still clouded in a way, but she probably does like Boruto. As far as we know, she just thinks of Boruto as a brother. Now, there are hints out there to signify a romantic relationship spewing later down the road, but as of now, we can only go by the hints, alright? But Sumire, we knew that since part 1. But the most recent factor that brought them together was them both being Ada's friend, the one who cast omnipotence onto the world. And if those are the only 2 humans that are not affected, and they don't share any type of traits or genes at all, then it has to be something like that.
In this video, I'll be going over 3 theories on why these girls aren't affected by omnipotence. Some of these theories are more far-fetched than others, while one of them is actually one I thought of when first reading the manga, and it's my personal favorite that I believe to be true, so stay tuned to hear me out there. I'm not going to bother fully explaining the abilities of Ida, as if you aren't aware of what they are, there's plenty of videos out there with great explanations on the topic, so check those out, or just read the manga. It's pretty well explained already. Without wasting any more time,
pretty good editing.
The first theory. This first one I want to talk about is probably the most flimsy of them all, and that's the Sumire and Sarada both love Boruto and Otsutsuki. It would overwrite Ida's omnipotence, as the charm wouldn't work because their true love resides with one of the people unaffected, and the memory swapping from omnipotence as well for that exact same reason that they both have true love for Boruto.
I mean, as wonky as it sounds, it's a very solid theory nonetheless. But I can see why people may think it's wonky, because there's no real facts to back that up. Okay, Sumire has a crush on Boruto, as well as Sarada. Okay, they're immune. It doesn't make any sense because it has nothing to do with them. You see what I'm saying? The one thing that would probably confirm this theory is if Hinata wasn't sealed. You know, if she was immune to the omnipotence, that is clear cut 100%. It's because they love an Otsutsuki. Hinata loves Boruto. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody would agree, right? I hope nobody would disagree. That's her son. She loves him. So is Naruto immune as well? We don't know because they're sealed. And even if they get out today, they probably wouldn't be affected because technically they wasn't on Earth when Ada cast her omnipotence, but that's for another conversation.
This was the absolute biggest theory going around when omnipotence wasn't introduced yet and it was just known as charm, so it would be more believable in that sense. But ever since it was revealed what the Shinjutsu actually was, this theory did fall quite a bit, although there are still a few diehard fans of this who will push it and want to sync with the ship that this is the actual reason.
Yeah, it did kind of die down.
Too much to talk about with this one currently, as it's massively overshadowed now, and since we got a lot of new information since this theory initially popped up, a lot of the talking points about it have been disproved and debunked, but for the reason that it was the first real big theory to my knowledge, I decided it was worth to mention it in this video. This next one is really an interesting theory because I'll be honest, the anime does play a huge part in it, as I believe almost the whole connection for Sumire to be immune relies on her anime arc and stuff only said in the anime, so you can take it with a grain of salt if you believe that whole thing was filler.
Y'all know how I feel about anime canon. Please don't be one of those people who think, it's not manga canon, so it has nothing to do with the Boruto story. And that's just simply not true. It's not true at all. Even though anime canon might not be in the manga, it foreshadows future ideas and concepts that will be used in the manga later. You guys gotta understand. What about Boruto and Delta, right? Boruto developing a new Rasengan to defeat a Kara member. Even though Delta isn't in the manga, the concept of Boruto developing a new Rasengan, right? A new Rasengan technique. And with this technique, he defeated a Kara member. It sounds familiar, right? Boruto defeating Delta with the high compression Rasengan, and Boruto defeating Code with the Uzuhiko. And then we got a lot of other future theories / ideas, like Boruto holding up a Minato, what was it, a playing card, Minato playing card. And then there was the whole thing about Himawari's kidnapping by the Shinju being foreshadowed in part 1. I mean, I made a whole video up on this. If you want to go check it out, the video will be in the top right hand corner. Go check that out. But anime canon is definitely important. So just don't let it fly over your head, because it'll be important later down the road. For me, what I'm most confident that will be in the manga later on is the whole Boruto and Tonari thing. At the beginning of the series, Tonari was having a conversation with Irishiki, and he was telling him about the power that he gave Boruto, and then Boruto talking to Tonari telepathically. I mean, all that has to mean something. You're gonna sit up here and tell me that anime canon doesn't mean anything going forward? You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy.
In one of the manga volumes in her character profile, it does say that she has him as a summoning, but the theory goes something like this. Sumire is immune to omnipotence because the seal placed on her from Danzo was stated by Sasuke that it came close to replicating Kaguya Otsutsuki's secret techniques, and since it was surgically implanted onto her, making her a compatible vessel for it, it could possibly make her have some sort of Otsutsuki DNA or link that would allow her to fully resist the omnipotence. When I first heard of this, I thought it was pretty bad, but after doing a bit more research and digging into things, it could possibly maybe just a little make some sense. I mean, like, hey, I love a good theory. I think stuff like this actually keeps the fandom alive.
It's a good theory. I ain't gonna lie, it's a good theory.
To get a little deeper into this theory, though, like I said before, the seal was created by Danzo and the Root, and it had to be surgically implanted onto her. So this is like a full-on part of her now. And since Sasuke said it came close to replicating something from Kaguya and Otsutsuki, potentially there could be some sort of Otsutsuki essence or something like that residing inside of Sumire, making her immune to omnipotence as a whole because Otsutsukis aren't affected by the Shinjutsu. Then if we factor Nue on top of it, since this seal acts as a gateway into his dimension, and as a matter of fact in the Narutopedia this seal is listed as a space-time ninjutsu because of it, which is kind of cool. It doesn't really add anything to this theory, just wanted to point that out. But it's a direct link to Nue, and Nue is actually manga canon as seen in the little ninja encyclopedia entries sprinkled throughout the physical Boruto volumes. It says she has Nue summoning under her ninja arts, so if his backstory and origin stays the same as it does in the anime, this theory could very well actually be canon and a possibility. This still obviously leaves the question for why Sarada
now you got to do Sarada,
because all of that was just a Sumire exclusive. So to tie in Sarada here, there's the very common widespread theory of her MS abilities, and one of them being she's able to alter fate or change fate of herself or others.
Okay, I know what he's about to say, and that is very important. That is very important because I believe we're about to see Sarada's MS abilities very soon. In the current chapter, she is on her way to fight against the Shinju. She is going to need her MS to fight them, or she's gonna lose. And the fact that she was proven to be immune to omnipotence before she activated or unlocked her MS, I don't know about this one. Because even if she can alter fate and all that with her eye, she hasn't unlocked it yet, and she was already proven to be able to do it. I mean, it could be that her MS allows her to break other people out of omnipotence, but as far as her breaking out of it, there's still that question mark. Unless some people believe that she could just do that before she unlocked her MS, like she just always had that ability. But there's no statements or nothing to back that up, so I just can't say that with a straight face and just be like, okay, yep, that's the theory, bye. I can't do that, because it doesn't make any sense.
This could be explained if she used her ability to control fate or something along those lines later on to make it so that she never would have been affected by omnipotence in the first place, which would then allow her younger self to not be affected in the current timeline. It's difficult to wrap your head around the concept of it, but since the Mangekyo Sharingan is the highest form of Sharingan other than the EMS, but all that does is remove all the drawbacks that the original MS had.
That's a broken ass ability. I ain't gonna lie. That's a broken ability. So you're saying future Sarada altered her fate so the past Sarada wouldn't be affected by omnipotence? You know what? If that's revealed, that's probably one of the craziest plot twists I ever heard. I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, let's say that one is a long shot. I'm not even gonna hold you. That is a long shot. But to say it completely doesn't make sense is wrong. Because the idea of seeing into the future or gazing into the future is not a new thing in the Boruto series. We seen Momoshiki do it and predict Boruto's future. We seen Boruto possibly do it, and that's why he knows about the 10 tails and all that before anybody else. But the thing is, Momoshiki and Boruto share that Shinjutsu. They can see somebody's fate, right? If Boruto can see somebody's fate and Sarada can alter fate, then it kind of makes sense if you think about it like that. Boruto being able to see somebody's fate and Sarada being able to alter it. Then I go lie. Hey, he might be cooking. I hope he mentioned that though. I hope he did, because that's a big point. To make people believe that theory, I believe you're just gonna have to like bind those two together, because it makes sense only if you think about it like that. No other way else.
It's a Kekkei Genkai originating from Otsutsuki genes and the direct stage below the Rinnegan, which is the strongest dojutsu. So it could very well have an ability for Sarada to use to interfere with Ida's omnipotence Shinjutsu. One last thing to mention before we get to the final theory is the whole 6-pass chakra thing. And depending on how you interpret it, it could be seen as a whole other way Sarada and even Hima could just outright be immune to omnipotence. For starters, there's the question of does Sasuke still have 6-pass chakra after losing the Rinnegan, which if he does, then omnipotence still affects people with 6-pass chakra, so anyone thinking Sarada is immune to it because she's the son of someone who has it and therefore the chakra would have been passed down, letting her have at least some traces of it, is wrong. But let's say Sasuke lost his 6-pass chakra when his Rinnegan got destroyed, then there could still be a chance of Sarada's immunity being because of the trace amounts of chakra that she has from being conceived while Sasuke had the 6-pass chakra.
Okay.
I plan to make a whole video on just if Sasuke has 6-pass chakra still, because at the end of Shippuden, it's heavily implied the Rinnegan contains chakra, and the amp Sasuke got from Hagoromo was the Rinnegan, so his 6-pass chakra would have been stored inside the eye, meaning there is actually some merit to this. It's a lengthy thing to get into, so I plan on making a whole other video just about this whole thing. Finally, this last theory, and the one I thought of while first reading the manga, is Ida's desire for true friends subconsciously doesn't allow for Sarada and Sumire to be affected by omnipotence.
Basically, this is the theory I was talking about. Ada's desire to have true friends, it kind of overpowered Kawaki's desire to want to unalive Boruto. And the fact that they made friends with Ada before this whole nonsense happened, yeah, it kind of saved them. I ain't gonna lie, that might be the theory I'ma have to go with. I ain't gonna lie, that might be the theory I'ma have to do, because it just makes the most sense logically. I mean, I understand the whole thing about Sasuke losing his Rinnegan, and him losing his Rinnegan means he loses his 6-pass chakra. I mean, that could be a possibility because it explains why Sasuke is affected by omnipotence but Sarada isn't. But what makes this theory make sense isn't Sasuke or Sarada, it's Himawari. Because Boruto is an Otsutsuki, that automatically makes him immune. But we can't forget Naruto also had the 6-pass chakra. And of course, Himawari was born before Naruto lost Kurama. Same thing with Sarada and Sasuke before he lost his Rinnegan. And there are hints that Himawari may be immune to omnipotence based on what she said in chapter 1. She didn't outright just say it. She said, I want to be stronger to help Boruto, because she feels like something is wrong. Now, just her being a kid, she's not gonna just outright come out and say, oh yeah, all you guys' memories are wrong, because she's still a kid at the end of the day. Her word doesn't really have any weight when it comes to this stuff. so nobody's really gonna take her serious. They're just gonna yell at her and tell her that she's wrong. I mean, her having no hostility towards Boruto doesn't outright mean she's immune to omnipotence, because Himawari is just not a hostile person in the first place. But the fact that she said that in chapter 1, she feels like her father is alive somewhere and she wants to help Boruto, that might signify some type of foreshadowing of him. That might signify something about Himawari being immune to omnipotence. And if that's true, then it gotta be the same for Sarada. But then of course, it kind of leaves a plot hole for Sumire. But if you want to go with the seal, the Kaguya seal for her, that's alright, you know, that could be something as well. But to keep it simple, we'll just say they're both immune because they are both Ada's friends. And in somehow, some way, that just made them dodge the effects of omnipotence. I promise you, I'm just as confused as you are.
This is what I thought of while reading the manga, and I didn't get influenced by anyone or was told this by anyone else. It was just something I randomly came up with. Obviously, if I'm able to think of this, almost every other person could. It's not some deep hidden meaning reading between the lines type theory. So no, I'm not saying I created this or it should be known as mine or anything. Just needed to say that. The theory goes something like this. Ida's charm ability makes every non-Otsutsuki instantly fall in love with her, but this causes her to crave real love and not fake emotions caused by a jutsu. This is why she is so obsessed with Kaoki, because he obviously doesn't have the infatuation for her as he's Otsutsuki, so between him and Boruto, they are the only two people to be able to have actual feelings for her that aren't influenced by omnipotence. This also goes hand in hand with friendship as well. Since every person is head over heels for the woman, she's never had actual true friends or anyone who wanted to be around her for her, and since she's younger, I believe around 16 years old, she's gonna want some friends or buddies. This makes me think that subconsciously, she's either activated omnipotence again, making it so Sarada and Sumire aren't affected by charm by wanting to have some friends, or that she's somehow once again unknowingly controlled omnipotence so it doesn't affect both of them. Why I and presumably many others think this to be the case is it just kind of makes sense to an extent. Nothing about this theory is either too much of a reach or leaves any plot holes or retcons. It's honestly a pretty solid theory. For starters, we know Ida can't control her omnipotence. That's been stated, that's a fact, there's no questioning or debating it, right? She's also used it twice already according to her emotions. One time wanting love and the other wanting Kaoki's desires to come true. So it's not crazy or out there to assume off-panel omnipotence was used based off her wanting friends, which made it so Sarada and Sumire wouldn't be affected by omnipotence at all. Let me say this again because I know people will argue this point. Subconsciously, Ida wanted love and activated omnipotence unknowingly, which led her to believe she has an ability called charm. Now let's say since everyone loves her and she wants true love, wouldn't she want true friends as well who aren't only talking to her because they are forced to? That's why I think this theory to be true. Let's not forget, she doesn't specifically need to say, oh, I really want Sarada and Sumire to be my friends. Those two could just be the lucky ones that were picked to be unaffected because of fate. A common theme throughout Boruto, that's why she didn't need to already meet both of them before the Shinjutsu procced. It's not a reach to say that either, as we are literally talking about a Shinjutsu, a technique of literal gods. So no, it's not crazy to say that fate chose both Sarada and Sumire to resist omnipotence at all.
Honestly, that's probably gonna end up being the reason. I'm not gonna lie, it just makes too much sense. I'm not reading too much into it. If Kishimoto wants to make this easy to explain and it still somehow makes sense, then this is probably the way to go. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about Sarada and Sumire and what theory makes the most sense to you guys. Or is there any possible way that me explaining a theory kind of made it make more sense than it actually did? I mean, this guy, he did a pretty good job on the video, Miso. Like I said, the link to his channel will be in the description below. So make sure you guys go check him out, get him to 1,000 subscribers, because the quality of the content is pretty good. He deserves way more subs. But yeah, honestly, I feel like this is going to be revealed very, very soon. I mean, Ada said she did want to talk to Boruto too, so we got to see what that's about. Maybe it's to talk about omnipotence. Maybe it's to talk about Boruto's foresight ability. Maybe it's to talk about the Shinju. We don't know. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until my next one, I'm out. Peace.